So we are doing a special little segment because Sean was unavailable to join the regularly broadcasted podcast. So we brought him in prior. It happens to be New Year's Day. So Sean, Happy New Year's to you and your family.
Kyle, is same to you and your family as well.
Thank you so much.
Bring in the year 2025.
Hey, first pod of 2025 right now.
Can you imagine? Can you believe that over a year and a half ago when you said on one August afternoon, hey, I'd like to start a podcast, that a year and a half later you would still be cutting podcasts?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And as they would say, where would you rather be than right here, right now?
If it's too cold for them, it's just right for us.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
okay, so you and I are going to try to kind of hit some topics that the rest you will hear in a minute. But we're going to get a different view on it maybe.
And I want to wish the entire podcast family, all ZaBills Nation, a Happy New Year. I think it's going to be a great 2025 for Buffalo. I'm just feeling it, but definitely want to extend.
Well, why don't you tell everyone what you told me yesterday? Last night.
I did not. I only had one drink. I was pretty sober last night. It was a late night for New Year's Eve, like it was for a lot of people out there in ZaBills Nation.
Yep.
And I, overcome with the sense of camaraderie, friendship, and, everyone for the ZaBills podcast reaching out and wishing everyone a Happy New Year. And I wasn't as bold to put it out to the entire podcast crew, but I did text Kyle that in the year 2025, a Buffalo franchise will win a championship. Well, I'm not going to say which one, but a Buffalo franchise, we will have our first championship.
If I were to put them in order of likelihood, I'm going to go Bandits, Bills, Sabres.
I'm going to exclude. I'm going to be that guy that excludes the Bandits because they just haven't cracked the top four. Very successful franchise. They are the franchise that has brought Buffalo an unofficial championship. But no, I've got a feeling, and I'm hoping it comes true. And if it doesn't, you'll all forget it. And if it does, this podcast will sound great.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Sean. So why don't you steer the ship, because you have your first segment of Grinds Your Gears.
Yeah, I have a couple of hot takes that I've been stewing around the last little bit, and this will fit in nicely. I certainly don't want to kind of usurp what the rest of the podcast crew is going to bring tomorrow, talking about the Jets and the Bills. A couple of things, but I do have a small segment on hot takes. And I'm going to call back from last week. I believe we debated which franchise was in a better spot, and it was the Jets and the Patriots.
Yes.
And ZaBills went for the Patriots, and I disagreed. And I realized how wrong I was for disagreeing with that
right?
one. The Jets, I thought they're strong defense. They've got some good prospects. I like the running back. They're a train wreck.
Yeah.
They are a disaster. It's one thing to get the impression. They're a train wreck. That's my hot take, is that ZaBills was absolutely, I believe it was you, Chris, Brendan, Mike, I think you guys hit it right on the head. The Patriots are by far in a better spot because of the culture of the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the game was over. I had marked it down. I think it was 5 minutes into the first quarter.
Oh, you got a bigger notepad now.
I brought one because this one's kind of running out.
Yeah.
We've reached that limit where it's coming to an end. And Aaron Rodgers threw a ball in the TV screen. All you see are New York Jets players within the 20 yards. There are no Buffalo Bills jerseys in the clip, and he hits a guy in the feet.
Yeah.
And it goes incomplete. And then the camera pans over, and I don't know what was said, but Aaron Rodgers looks like he was upset. Not at himself, but at his team. And I said, right there, here's a hot take. Jets have just lost the game.
Well, I thought that the game, I thought that the Bills definitely, I think, shot themselves in the foot in the first half. Like, that game should have been already over at halftime. And either Buffalo couldn't get out of their own way and score points, or the Jets did enough on defense in the first half to keep them to 12 points. But obviously the second half was a different story. But the Jets are just, like you said, a dumpster fire.
Train wreck.
It's just, you got all these big name players. They might be selling. I saw something on Facebook the other day that Ron Rivera might be the number one candidate to take the head coaching position there. I like that guy. I think it might be all right, but I think the Jets, not that this is a Jets podcast, but the Jets need to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
And they can't. They can, but they can't based off their cap space.
Yeah.
I just, there are some franchises in any sports, but if you can't get the locker room right, you have no shot. You can sometimes get by on talent,
right?
But what we're seeing out of that franchise is for the last 18 months, they have been a train wreck.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, the
feel bad for that guy.
Core. They're a disaster. So that was my one hot take.
Back to the locker room. Look at the Buffalo Bills this year compared to last year without Stephon Diggs.
I agree.
Set a franchise record for most points scored in a season. I believe my son, shout out to Kellen, said to me that the Bills have tied the Buffalo Bills franchise with the most wins with 13. If they can beat the Patriots on Sunday, 14 wins would be the most they've ever had.
And
that's surprising, isn't it?
No,
with some of the Super Bowl era teams.
No, and I want to call back our preseason podcast at the start of the year.
I had him 17-1
when you kept going win, and the rest of the table was kind of looking at you weird, like is he crazy or is he a homer? And looking back on that,
I thought I was nuts.
I thought we thought you were nuts too, and it was another hot take was how accurate Kyle was.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule they had with what they had lost in the offseason, this transitional year with no cap space and a defensive line that was suspect, and 14 wins.
So let me dissect that for a second. Of the losses, I would be almost 100% on my prediction if they could have figured out the Texans game, which should have been a win, and then they lost to the Rams, which I'm sure they would love to have that one back.
Right.
Ravens definitely should have been. That was terrible. The other two games, though, we should only have one loss right now.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. And Kansas City should have at least 3.
Yeah.
And we should be the number 1 seed. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
How crazy would that have been if the Bills and the Chiefs were both one-loss teams,
right?
And the Bills had the number 1 over them because they beat them in the head-to-head. That's what I'm saying. Like some of these games, non-conference, same AFC game, but different division.
Right.
Some of those games are crucial.
Yeah, I know.
Now down the line,
I know. And then you don't even think about what happens in September and October, but those games come back to haunt you if you have
100%. But no, I never would have thought in a million years that I would have been that close.
Again, as the Bills were steamrolling the Jets, I was like, we have to go back towards the end of the season. Hopefully it's celebrating championship, but almost go back and dissect our first podcast to start this season.
Yeah.
And go back because I would be curious to find out how we voted in August about the Bills season this year because it was unbelievable. And I just remember you saying, I got them winning.
I only had them losing to Jacksonville just because the last 3 games versus Jacksonville, they have struggled, and that was the only one. And like I said, because did the Texans game come down to a missed field goal?
I don't know.
It was close. Like we should have won that game.
Yeah,
we should have won that game. The Rams game, that's fresher. That's a game
that was
one
a game
stop.
That was a game for the
stop.
ages.
Yeah.
That was a game for the ages that you'll talk about 3, 4, 5 years about those. And you know what? We had one against the 49ers.
Yep.
Shout out to your friend Rob.
Hey, listen. Then the 49ers show up. I'm sure it's because the Lions had a decimated defense, but they put up quite a few points on the Lions.
Impressive. They looked like they could win that game. And the Lions just out.
Yeah.
My problem with the Lions, here's another hot take, is I think the Lions expended too much. I just think their injuries are going to catch up with them. I think that's going to be not a lost season by any stretch, but I think we'll look back and we'll see the Lions just ran out of steam.
I think the NFC team in the playoff race, the margin of error in the NFC, I don't think it's very small. All those teams are very strong.
All you've got to look at is that Minnesota Lions matchup. That's the difference between 1 and 5. You're going to be the 1 seed with a bye, or you're going to be a wild card 5th seeded NFC team out of
crazy.
7. Right? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Because you got Philadelphia, Detroit, Minnesota, you just mentioned. You have Washington snuck in.
Yep.
You have the Rams, right? I think at my board over there. I think the Rams are the are they won the West. I think they took the West. They won the West. I think they took the West. And who's in that other division?
You got the Eagles and
Eagles.
Eagles, Rams, Seattle.
Seattle's in the other one. Anyways, Green Bay.
Oh yeah,
Green Bay. So you got Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, Philadelphia. Those 4 teams, like any one of them are gonna. I mean, obviously, any one of them are gonna.
Yeah.
And then 1 through 5, Super Bowl contender.
Sure. I disagree with Green Bay. I think Green Bay's a grade below. I think those top 3, Detroit, Minnesota, I think Eagles are on a whole different level.
If Detroit doesn't get the 1 seed, they're out first round.
That would be devastating. And that's kind of what I predicted.
Because you said, right? 1 or 5? 1 or 5.
Yes. And it's one of those things where it's like, I think their injuries are just catching up to them. They had a great season. I think it's great for the franchise.
2-7, 3-6, 4-5.
Right.
So what would that be? If you don't get the 1, you're going to end up playing what? Like Green Bay?
Yes.
No. 4. No, you'll end up playing probably the Rams.
Right.
Because they'll be the lowest divisional winner.
I'm looking at the
I'm pretty
standings
sure
right now.
I like where we're kind of sitting right now, except the Ravens are so hit and miss. Like that's the thing that scares me. Like Kansas City, I know what you're going to get. You're going to get a team that's going to play you tough. They're playing a lot better now. Your Bills defense has got to show up.
Right.
Got to show up. And listen, the Bills, what did we end up winning? 44 or 40-14 or something?
Right.
The Jets are bad. So...
And they're going to be bad.
Yes. No.
There's no
What I'm
fix.
saying is that the Bills defense showed up against a mediocre NFL offense.
And just real quick, you nailed it. It would be the Rams and the Lions in the first round.
Ooh.
So, yes.
Depending upon what Rams team shows up, they're going to give...
Right.
But if it's the Rams that have played the last 2 or 3 games, Lions should get a win.
Right, but then you're taking on, again, you're the 5th seed. So, I mean, you're also going to get the higher up matchup going in the next round. No, the Jets are a train wreck with no real quick answer down the road. I think they're going to have to go all the way up there to the top again. Even though they've cut GMs, they're going to have to find a new GM, probably find a new coach, probably find a new quarterback. They're a disaster. Now, the Bills, you got to understand that Jets have a really solid run defense. They have a pretty solid defense, which is why a lot of people pick them to be as successful as they were. But to go back to your point, the first Bills drive is what you want to see in the playoffs.
Right.
They spread the ball around. They marched down the field. They took off, I want to say, a third of the first quarter just in that drive alone.
Yeah.
That was textbook. That was textbook Buffalo Bills. And then they stalled out a little bit until the start of the third quarter. But, it was a fine-tuning game. It was a fine-tuning game. Everyone who's a main player got off the field relatively healthy.
Yeah.
You ready for the next hot take?
Yes.
Hot take number 3.
Hold on, before we do that. Looking back at the results from this season, we lost the Texans by a field goal.
Was that it?
23-20.
Yeah.
So you should potentially have that one back.
The only game we had no shot being in was Baltimore. We were done within the first quarter.
Otherwise, they've been pretty consistent. All right, hit me with number 3.
Number 3. Josh Allen will start against the New England Patriots.
I agree.
Yeah. One series, though. I think he might get
possibly
one snap.
2.
I think he gets one snap.
Is that for the consecutive streak?
I believe it is. Because he's been talking it. And I love that he says, it's up to the coach. Josh, we know you're the coach, general manager, owner of this team. It's really your call, buddy. Personally, I would keep him home. I would even fly him out to New England.
I understand that.
Home,
but
newlyweds.
Yeah.
Hang with your wife. It's going to be a grind the next
newlyweds. They got married?
Fiance, hang with your fiance, take some time off, watch the team, come in from a different perspective. You're watching it from the sky, kind of like any fan, and then be refreshed. But MVP be damned for him. He wants the, and I looked it up though. He's nowhere close. I mean,
in votes?
No. I'm talking about
stats.
Yeah, if he wants to be the I think Brett Favre has 300 starts consistently, and he's maybe halfway there, and it's like, oh, okay. If he was close to a record, I would be like, but, he's talked the talk, and he's like, that's really important to me, so what's really important to Josh? Josh is going to get the start. Maybe a snap. I would pull him out but that's what Josh wants. You got to give it to him.
What about any of the records? Do you think Cook will play to try to beat the Bills' season record?
Maybe a series.
So try to get him
I would not bring anybody. I would bring my special teams unit. I would march out my second stringers. I'd call people up in the practice squad. I really wouldn't bring anyone. I wouldn't bring Kincaid, maybe Knox. I wouldn't bring Cooper. I wouldn't bring any of the receiver core. Listen, losing benefits us, believe it or not, because it hurts the Patriots' ability to draft higher. So really, there's no reason why we should be spending any sort of capital in this game. There's no advantages for us. If you want to be the team, this is the team that broke the Bills' most successful season, great, but there's no value to this game at all.
No, unless you really care about being the most winningest Bills regular season team, or if you want Josh Allen this game. So let me ask you this. Do stats in the playoffs count for career touchdowns and stuff?
They might, but they usually for records they don't. It's a completely separate category. You have your
for the record of Josh Allen now surpassing Thurman Thomas for rushing touchdowns.
Right.
I would assume that would count in the playoffs.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that if he doesn't break it this week, he's going to break it next season.
That's what. Well,
so I mean, right? I mean, it's going to fall. It's just a matter of when it's going to fall.
Yeah, I was just thinking that should. I'm assuming the playoff statistics count, right?
I think anybody who's
career
voting,
touchdowns.
Usually there's separate categories. Like Ovechkin, we're talking about him breaking the record.
Don't get me started about him.
But his I believe, are just regular season. They're not goals.
No, you're telling me that of all those goals that Gretzky has, none of them are a playoff goal?
No, they're playoff goals for sure, but I don't know if they count toward. They might. I don't know.
They probably do.
I'll have to look it up.
Because then you got Cook, who's one away from being the all-time Bills rushing single-season record. There's a couple records that I don't know if they care enough about. Like, so you could keep Josh Allen in for 2 series.
Right. I mean, if
Josh Allen runs one in and then Cook runs in the next one after
There it
Trubisky,
is.
if you can get Trubisky to get the ball down the field.
Right. He looked good.
Wow.
I
One pass for 80, 65 or whatever it was. But yeah, I hear you.
Hot take number 4, Josh Allen will be the MVP. I have no doubt. I know that the stats and the numbers, but I can be talked into
Sweet sauce. Lasagna with meat.
And a good pizza for a good price. But
yeah,
listen, the fact that they knocked off Kansas City and Detroit tells me a lot. That carries a lot of weight.
I guess so. The logic that I was been hearing is that he didn't get it last year because the Bills weren't a higher seed,
right?
But yet he had much better stats than Lamar last year.
Right.
Now this year, Lamar's stats aren't far and beyond. They're close.
He's leading in all major categories. Lamar Jackson is.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers alone, he deserves it. But
is Baltimore playing for anything this weekend?
I don't believe they're playing for anything at all. I think that what they have is what they have, and what they're going to have is Ravens.
It might not be set though, right?
Right now, Ravens are going to play the Steelers 3-6. Texans are stuck at 4. The Ravens can't go any higher. They can't win their division.
Can they go lower?
I don't believe they can, because it's really would be the Chargers, because the Texans are locked in at 4.
Oh,
they could if anything, they drop to where the Steelers would be.
Okay.
So I don't believe they have anything to play for. They're locked in at number 3. They're not going to beat Buffalo. We locked up 2. Chiefs locked up 1. So they don't really have a lot of value in there.
Did Lamar win it 2 years in a row?
I don't know if it was 2. He has 2. I don't know. I do not believe it was 2 years in a row.
I think the only advantage Josh will have if he wins it this year is because they beat the Chiefs.
Strength of schedule.
They beat the Lions. and they're a higher seed than the Ravens.
23-19 is when Jackson, I believe, won the MVP.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's not quite a great hot take, but I've crunched numbers. And I know ZaBills Nation, we do kind of beat on Sean McDermott. And
Coach of the year?
No, he's going to lose out to a team like a Washington that was not really predicted to do well. That's how it usually goes with coaching.
Yeah, but couldn't ZaBills Nation yell at you right now and say, "Hey, listen, the Bills were shooting for 9-7, 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in there."
Yeah, but I would bet if we were to tabulate most of the
run it through a simulator 100 times.
I think most pundits out there had the Bills as a playoff team. Maybe not winning, maybe a wild card team, but getting into the playoffs. At least the expectations were a little bit higher.
They had them losing the division, though, to 2 other teams, though.
I understand.
So they wouldn't get into the playoffs, if most likely.
Who said that?
They all picked the Jets or the Dolphins to win the division.
I get
so
absolutely.
If those guys were 1 and 2 and we were 3, good chance we weren't getting in.
Yeah, but the stat that kind of still sticks with me is the fact that the Redskins haven't had this successful of a year since the year they went to the Super Bowl and beat Buffalo, 1992.
That's correct, with Mark Rippon.
I mean, that's an unbelievable stretch, and that's a team that kind of came out of nowhere. That kind of there's some other franchises, whether it's the Texans, they were trending up nicely with their quarterback, but there's some franchises out there that kind of caught the NFL by surprise a little bit, and I think those coaches usually get rewarded for that sort of.
I think Josh Allen should win it this year just because he's doing it without a number 1 receiver.
I think he's doing it the right way, spreading the ball out. His takeaways, meaning in terms of his interceptions and giveaways and fumbles, drastically down.
Yeah,
he's played a team effort. And you got to ask yourself, who's more valuable to your franchise? There's no doubt, 100%. You take Josh Allen out of the equation, the Buffalo Bills are a completely different team. Lamar's got to share his success a little bit to Henry. They've got 2 studs right there. Henry coming over and being the running back, he's revised his career this year. That hurts a little bit. When you have someone as talented who has done as much for your team on the same roster, sometimes it pulls votes.
That's true, because I guess anybody could hand it off to Derrick Henry.
Right. I mean, that I think if you take Derrick Henry out of the equation
and Lamar's still there, then it's a different.
I think they're a different team. I mean, this is kind of a stupid talk. We said about Josh Allen forever, but I think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're as good. I don't think there's any question that Josh Allen is going to win. I think because they've had a nice run themselves, there's this debate. But I think if you take Henry out of that equation, Jackson's stats don't look as good as they do.
Yeah.
That's not a hot take. Scrap that. That's not my hot take. But I think when you got to share talent, I think it pulls from the votes from your overall MVP.
I get it, right? Like McCaffrey.
Right.
And if you had a stud quarterback,
right,
and you keep feeding them the ball, passing or throwing,
exactly.
That's the same thing. But I don't know. I guess when do we find that out?
It's going to be before the playoffs. So before the first game, they'll have. I believe so. I believe it's only regular season stats. They do not count for all of these Coach of the Year, MVP. They're just regular season stats. Whether they'll release them before the start of the playoffs or maybe week 2, I think it would be great for Buffalo. I think it would be obviously great for Josh. I think he's more than deserving of it. I can't get enough of watching his end of any sort of press conference when he ends up with "Go Bills, go Bills, go Bills." The creme de la creme will be a Super Bowl championship, and I do believe in his heart of hearts that's what he wants more than anything else. And anything else is secondary, but you would like to see a guy who gets rewarded.
Okay, so this article is old. I don't know why that popped up. I'm trying to find
when they released.
I mean, what I'm seeing is that Josh Allen is currently leading. I wonder when they announced that.
And that's the thing too. That's actually, while you're looking that up, I've got another hot take, which I'm going to dispense for ZaBill's Nations, and there is obviously a phrase. I certainly didn't coin it, but be careful what you wish for,
buddy.
And
they released the MVP in February.
Oh, that late? They don't even. I thought it was in season. Okay,
nope,
so we got a while.
Late. It's like around the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, which makes sense. You want to maximize. Pull people in. That's one way of doing it. Yeah,
I guess
we were way off on that one.
Well, that's why it's always confusing, like if they take playoffs into account, because they usually are announcing it. I think it's the night before.
And you do really. I
think it's the night before or the 2 days before the Super Bowl.
Sense. Yeah, which would make sense. I mean, you do have the Super Bowl MVP, so you have another award for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for, and one of the things that kind of bleeds into this one. This one's a hot take.
Hot take number 5?
Hot take number 5. I think the NFL's got to be careful about extending their season.
Oh, shit.
Another week. And the reason why is because what we're seeing this year, I think what we're seeing this year is basically reverse engineered preseason football. What we're seeing is teams, your playoffs are all set.
Oh, yeah.
We're seeing just today, obviously, Kansas City's running their backup quarterback. Miami's running their backup quarterback. I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play. We think Josh Allen's going to be there, but he'll get a snap. What we're seeing is basically preseason football. Teams are resting players.
Well, I think with the people that built the schedule,
right,
when they had the Bills going Patriots, Jets, Patriots,
yeah,
they probably assumed that the division was going to be a lot closer than it is, and it didn't happen that way.
So this could be an anomaly.
That backfired in their face.
I mean, but look at how many. There's really only one consequential. We already hit upon it. Game that I can think of. One and like 1D is obviously the Detroit, Minnesota. I mean that is.
Oh yeah, that's
by far going to be like that'll be probably the only game I'll watch in detail for just the.
Is that a primetime game?
I believe it's Sunday night. I'll double check, but I do believe it's a Sunday night game. The only other one of interest is really going to be Denver. I mean,
Denver KC
to lock up the last playoff spot. Outside of that, you either do not want to improve because it's going to hurt your lottery odds, or your draft positioning, or you do not want to play because you're going. Now imagine if we had 2 more weeks of this, 2 weeks where. I'm saying if you add an 18th game in the schedule where you basically have taken the start of the preseason, and now all of a sudden you've taken those preseason games and now you've put them towards the end of your season because they want to rest players. I think that's not a good look for a franchise that wants to go into their marquee playoffs.
Do you think that if they were to add another game though, they'd have to add another bye week? I wonder if they would do. What do you mean no?
We talked about that. They want to match it up so the Super Bowl is President's Day weekend. I don't know if you might be able to do that. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to do that. I mean, it's all about
NFLPA is not going to go for that, right? I can't imagine that they're going to just add another game.
Well, what they would do is they would take from a preseason game. It's not. Right. So I wonder if it's be careful what you wish for, NFL, because I think we're going to see a shit ton of boring football this weekend. Like it's going to be the calm before the storm. You're going to see a lot of, which is good. Get the guys who've been out there practicing every week, give them some time in the spotlight, minimize the injuries, minimize your impact. It's almost going to be almost like 2 buys, for these teams that have the bye.
I guess the only reason why I would tune in for the game is just to see what starters are starting.
Right. And
how long they leave them in.
Fingers, toes, crossed, no one gets hurt. Like that's the thing. I almost would be uncomfortable watching the game if there was a third of the starters out there. I don't, you saw the one lineman from the Buffalo Bills go down a couple of times, rolled his ankle. I think he'll be fine. Taped him up. He was in there 2 series later.
You're talking about Anderson?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, you're so close. You're there. I mean, we had to play. We had to take care of the Jets. We had to lock up number 2, but there's no need. There's no need to put these guys through it. It's going to be cold. This is not going to be Miami. This is going to be cold. Another cold weather game. You're going to have at least 2 in Buffalo. Cold weather games coming up. Yeah. So that's my hot take. It's be careful, NFL, what you want, because I think this week's going to show you it's going to be pretty bland football.
No, you're right. So if weather's decent, make sure you get all your chores done.
That's right.
Take advantage, because after this week,
playoff
football.
It's playoff. It's go time. And I mean, it's season number 2. This is what you what you train for in the off season, what you prepare for the play or for preseason, regular season. You got a ticket. The league's 32 teams. This league's only 32 teams. You've been almost cut in more than half. Half the league is less than half the league has got a shot to win the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. You have any other hot takes?
I don't know if I have any more hot takes. I had Josh MVP. Josh will play. Jets were a train wreck, still a train wreck. Hot take, extra game. I've covered all my hot takes. Do you have any hot takes?
I don't have any hot takes. I was just going to ask you for a quick, what takeaways did you get out of that beatdown?
Oh, the Bills offense when it wants to hum, it's humming.
When it wants to.
That first drive was impressive. That first Josh Allen drive, I don't know what it was in the first. I don't know if it was the first drive, but he hit 5 different receivers in the first quarter for yards, positive yards. The ability to spread the ball out, to run when they want to run, the different running backs they have, the different caliber. I mean, everybody was pitching in on this one.
Thank God they have 3 running backs, because Curtis Samuel is just non-existent.
I know. You're beating that drum.
I just don't get it.
I understand.
I don't get it.
The coaching staff has seen something that they do or do not like.
Unless he's just injury-ridden, that he just can't.
It could be that.
Do anything on the field right now?
Right?
I don't know.
It could be that. Or, listen, sometimes you are signing these guys because you don't think that a Mac Hollins can fulfill his role.
Yeah, he did.
You're signing these guys because you're really sure how Shakir's going to handle it.
So let's jump back to preseason predictions. I was predicting 180-degree flip between Hollins' season and Samuel's season.
Right. Well, you were going off reputation.
Sure.
Which is the right thing to do. I mean, I don't think anyone was wrong in that one.
But I'm wondering if Samuel coming in with the injury already,
right,
just carried him through on the cart.
Right. And you're humming along. I don't know. I think McDermott's more of a conservative, and I do want to give him a shout out, because I don't know if we brought this one up. I'll come back to this Samuels in a second. Often don't see a lot of coaches go out of their way and make a position, take a stance, specifically about the MVP. But he put it out there. He's like, Josh Allen's the MVP of the league. And that does take some stones for a coach to come out and publicly say, he's not going to say someone else is better.
Right.
But to come out and be so vocal about that and say, this guy's our MVP, he's the league MVP.
Yeah.
I'll put him against anybody, bring it on.
Yeah.
Mic drop. As a conservative coach, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it.
No, I agree.
They were humming along.
I agree.
With the receiver core they had. Didn't see a lot of injuries. I mean, obviously, Cooper, Kincaid went down. Coleman, I get it. But he was pretty consistent with that roster that he likes to roll out. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep those guys out there.
Watching Josh, do you ever... This is my one takeaway, negative, but he can throw some really amazing balls, and then he'll go through this cold streak in a game,
right,
where he throws everybody low at their feet, and right. I don't know if it's always when he scrambles to his left, thrown against, the bootlegging and scrambling always to the right, always looking down the sideline. That's starting to make me nervous. He seems like he's doing it more and more often now. I guess in the playoffs against good teams,
right.
I guess I'm a little nervous on what if, because in a game like the Jets, it's almost like he's showing you glimpses of Josh Hero ball from the last 2 years. Right. And in a game like the Jets, just throw it out of bounds. Stop running for your life. I understand you're trying to, make this incredible play.
Right.
But if you're up 28-0,
yeah, just
throw the damn ball out of bounds or throw it in the dirt like Tom Brady.
Right.
Just do over 2nd and 10.
And
I just
my only counter to that is the
penalties, happen on the holds because whatever. He's going to go out of bounds. He's going to take a shot that he doesn't need to take, even though he's one of the best actors and draws these. Yeah. Because how many late hits did he take that were penalized? 3?
They were on it.
3 or 4?
They were on it.
Just
flagged.
Whatever. That's just my thing is a little too much hero ball in a blowout game.
Right.
What's he going to do when it comes to the big time?
I get it. My pushback for you on this one is the Keon Coleman touchdown.
Oh, sure.
Which, I mean...
No, Cooper.
No, that too, but it was a jump ball.
Oh, right.
It really was a jump ball. He throws it on the run. It's in the end zone. There's 2 Jets players right there, and Coleman comes down with it. It's like, oh my God, that was great. Yep. That's when you want Josh to play hero ball. That was your example of glimpses of hero ball with Josh Allen, but it worked out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If he would have thrown a pick there, you're like, what are you doing? You know, we're up 35 points or 28-0, 30, whatever, and then he's still trying to.
Yeah.
I guess that the other thing is I guess you love seeing a team that's pedal to the metal until the final whistle, and if you score 70 points, you score 70 points. Right. If you throw, I don't know.
Josh Allen's got a little juggernaut in him. And as he builds up, as the team...
The little engine that could.
Right. I mean, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and you see plays where he throws it to Cooper weeks ago, and he pitches it to him, and he dives in for a touchdown. The Coleman catch he just had. Just these moments where you're like, he can't go a gear higher, and somehow he goes a gear higher, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's our guy. You know, that's our MVP.
Yeah, I just wish, I guess, consistently that and I get it, weather and whatever situation, that not every throw is going to be the same as the previous throw. But there are just some throws that you're like, yeah, that was a little short, and wish we would have had that back where guy was at the first down and then they end up punting it or whatever. But
there is nothing that's going to be more difficult for a defense to contain when the quarterback, when the receivers have no idea what the play is. And what I mean by this is when Josh breaks the tackle box and he's rolling to his right, or he's buying time, or he's dodging tackles. And now it's scramble mode. Now the receivers, they run their routes. Their routes are now broken, and now they go anywhere. And that's where you see the magic of Josh. Last year, we saw a couple of interceptions that didn't need to be. This year, it's completions or maybe an overthrow or underthrow, but that is the hardest thing to defend, is when, from a defensive standpoint, the offensive players have no idea what's going on right now. So they're just running whatever they want to run. Yeah. You can't defend against that.
No.
And that's what makes Josh Allen so dangerous.
I 100% agree. If they can, what?
I was going to ask you.
What?
Who would you like them to play in the first round? You got really 3 choices.
I would love for them to play Kansas City, but that's not possible. I know. So what are my choices? Chargers?
No. It's going to be... I'm talking about the first round. I'm talking about first round playoffs. You're going to have Bengals, Denver.
Bengals are in?
They're not in. They're in contention. They're in the hunt. Dolphins. Those 3 are really the only teams that can do it. If the Dolphins win, the Bengals are knocked out. If Denver loses
to Kansas City,
it opens the
what
door.
Do you think? Do you think Mahomes is going to play, or they're not going to play?
He's not going to play. He's not the starter.
So Denver should win.
Denver should win, but they should have beaten the Bengals last week.
No,
that one irked me a little bit too.
Who do Bengals play, and who do Dolphins play?
Dolphins play with Tua's not starting.
I haven't heard his name in many weeks.
He is not starting that game.
I have not followed any Dolphin news at all.
That's what came down the pike today, is that he's not starting. Mahomes is not starting, which is good for Denver because that's gonna benefit them. They play the Steelers. The Bengals do. They play that as a Saturday game, so it might be a moot. It might be a moot point for them because if the Bengals lose...
Well, I guess if the Dolphins are in it, bring them up to Buffalo.
Yeah, well, they play the Jets. They play the Jets in New York.
So Miami's going to win.
Right. And they're both 425 stars. So the Broncos and the Chiefs play at 425 Sunday, as do the Dolphins. And the Jets Sunday night.
What if the Broncos win and the Dolphins win?
Broncos are in.
Okay. Broncos
win, they're in. That's it. Broncos win or tie, they're in. It was the same
Dolphins
thing last week. Dolphins need help.
In with a win and a Denver loss.
They are your team. because they're in a better spot than what the Bengals need is both Miami and Denver to lose.
Chargers are in.
Chargers are in. Yeah, they're your team. The only spot really left is, I believe, that one spot in the AFC. Everything else has been spoken for.
Huh. Well, to answer your question, I would love to take Miami if they are going to be in. If not,
who's number 2?
I guess the Broncos. So who are my options?
You got the Bengals, Broncos, Dolphins.
Bengals suck too.
Their defense is terrible, but I mean Chase has been unstoppable. I mean that would be different. That would be interesting against a weave. And when I say weave, I'm not talking about ZaBill's Nation. Buffalo pundits have been really taking the Buffalo Bills defense under a microscope.
Well, that would be 2 games in a row, almost 100 points allowed. That would be something to peek into.
Right.
That's my only. Like I said, I don't want to get into games that turn into track meets.
That might be one.
So you would think that the Bengals are similar to a Rams team?
I think that game would look like that. I don't know if they're the Rams team per se, but I think that had. I think the receiver cores are some of the best in the entire league. I don't think they have the same running back quality, but I think Burrow is a hell of a quarterback on a great team that just isn't. Yeah. I mean, that just isn't. They're just not as a whole. They're not a good team.
Okay, so I would take, if I had to pick in order 1, 2, 3. First, I would take the Dolphins. 2, I would take Denver. 3, I would take Cincinnati.
Okay.
You?
I'm interested to see how hard Denver's got to play because they don't have the opportunity to rest their starters, so they're playing guys. And not to say that Miami isn't. I think our record would indicate we want Miami, but geez, I don't know. Hey, I probably.
Why isn't Tua playing?
He's hurt,
so he might not play next week, anyways,
I think,
or the following week for first round. Now,
he's helped us.
Playoffs,
right?
They're most likely going to put him on the field.
Right.
They're going to try to get him on the field.
Right. And I mean,
is it concussion related or something else?
I believe it's his hip. So, I mean, in the fact that they haven't won a game below 40 degrees, like this Jets would be interesting because I believe it's going to be a cold weather game for him. So that does not bode well for the Dolphins team, considering they have not won sub 40, I think, in the last 3 years. That's a problem and a half for them.
Yeah.
I probably would go Denver 1, Miami 2, Bengals, just because they're such a wild card. I think that euphoria of just getting in would be circa Bills breaking the 17-year drought. We had a couple of those videos going around yesterday.
Are you speaking about Denver getting in?
No, I'm talking about the Bengals because it was so unexpected for them.
Yeah.
And they made this run, and all of a sudden they kind of sneak in, and they weren't intended after starting 1-4.
Yeah.
To make the playoffs. I think there'd be a little Bengals euphoria for that.
Right. Okay. What do you predict being? Is there going to be a shocker winner loser in the playoffs this year?
They're always going to be. That's what makes the NFL
Who do you think it'll be?
I'm pulling it up right now. If it holds in the AFC, anyone who wins between the Chargers and Texans is not going to be a shocker. I could see, even though they got absolutely manhandled, I could see a Steelers team. That would be a shocker, considering how bad they got beaten by the Ravens earlier this year. I could see them upsetting a Baltimore Ravens team and making everyone in Buffalo extremely happy. I don't think anything happens with the Chargers and Texans is going to be anything. A shocker for me before the playoffs is if the Lions is not the number 1 seed. That would be a shock for me, considering how much love they had.
Okay, so let me give you actual facts from NFL.com.
Go for it.
Chiefs 1.
Yep.
Bills 2.
Got it.
Ravens are 3.
Yep.
Houston's 4.
Yep.
Steelers are 5.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers are 6.
Correct.
In the hunt is the Broncos.
Yeah.
The bubble, as you were talking about, are the Dolphins and the Bengals.
Right. They need a tie. They need a tie or a victory of any sort to clinch the last playoff spot.
So all these others are set.
They're all good. They're all they have a ticket into the game.
So the only team that needs to win are the Broncos.
Right.
So they're playing the Chiefs. Chiefs probably are not going to play anybody.
It looks like the Falcons and the Seahawks might...
Nope, Seahawks are eliminated.
Done. Forget it, yeah.
Falcons are on the bubble. Buccaneers in the hunt.
And I believe it comes
they are number 4.
down to their division.
How are they? Okay.
Because whoever's going to win their division.
If they lose, 30% chance of getting in. If they win, they're in.
Right. And I believe that would be everybody out in the NFC. Packers are in. Eagles are in. Commanders are in. Bucks, still a slight question mark. Vikings are in, and Rams.
Oh, NFC South. So you're telling me that it's between the Buccaneers and the Falcons?
That would be correct.
Of who's getting this last spot?
Yep. And that might be the only, but it's definitely not as sexy as the 1 versus 5 Detroit versus Minnesota.
Oh no. Lions 14-2.
I know.
Vikings 14-2.
Yes, the winner gets
number 1
yep.
and
a bye. It's very, very tempting. Falcons.
Why can't Eagles get the 1?
The Eagles
are 13-3.
Yeah, because
playing the Giants.
Right.
They're gonna
because somebody's got to be 15. Someone's gonna get a 15th victory.
This is why fantasy football ended last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you get this garbage.
Right. That's kind of what I was, again, you want 18 weeks of 2 weeks of kind of this.
Broncos in if they win. Dolphins 21% if they win.
Right. It's still not looking good.
But Bengals 11% if they win.
Right. They need a lot to fall their way.
Yeah.
And okay. I know, Herb he's magi. He's pretty smart when it comes to it.
Yeah.
When you're on 8 fantasy football teams, you pick up these things. He does not want to see the Bengals. And I believe him. What Herb says about football, I almost take as gospel.
Right.
And if he says he doesn't want the Bengals, I don't either.
I don't want the Bengals just because it's like the Chiefs.
Right.
Can't beat them in the playoffs.
Right. Different team.
Those are the 2 teams that are our nemesis in the playoffs. Ravens, we beat them every time we play them.
I know. Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, right? So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I don't really have a whole lot of shockers. I think who's going to win should win, and I think it'll come down to the AFC Championship, NFC Championship, and I'd be stunned if your top 4 teams aren't playing for that.
All right, so let's go conference here. AFC versus NFC.
Got it.
Of who's in the playoffs for each conference, which conference is going to win the Super Bowl?
That's a good one.
Because the Eagles seem like they're going to be the team to beat over there because the Lions don't have a defense. I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Lions-Vikings game.
Right.
I hate to say this. I could see the Bills. I see the Bills getting to at least the AFC Championship. I don't know if they'll get out of it. If they get to the Super Bowl, I think the NFC is stronger.
I agree. Here's my take. I think if they're able to get past the Ravens, sky's the limit. The Ravens are the only roadblock that I see.
Dennis and some of those guys have said that the Ravens are not the same team.
Which I get, but the same team from last year, same team that steamrolled us, embarrassed us in that week 3 or 4 matchup.
Well, you need some of these defensive players to get back and get healthy, get mean and nasty.
They're coming to Buffalo. It's a different atmosphere. I think that plays a significant role. But
how crazy would it be if the Bills beat the Ravens in the playoffs,
right?
But yet Josh didn't win the MVP?
Which could happen.
Oh, sure it could.
Which could happen.
Or vice versa. The Bills beat the Ravens and
Ravens.
Lamar wins it.
Yeah, Ravens.
You know what I mean? Like we win Lamar gets it, we lose, Josh gets it, kind of a thing.
Just a regular season type
No, I know.
award, and it's happened before.
I still can't believe no one else could beat the Chiefs so far this year.
Again, there were a lot of...
But we've always said good teams always find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean...
Lucky bounces, lucky call, lucky break, block this, block that, miss this, miss that.
And it will be a footnote to history if they don't
I believe Bass missed crucial... Did he miss 2 kicks in the Texan game?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
It doesn't matter, though.
No.
I mean, I guess it puts more importance in this week's game against New England. But I don't know, man. I think you want to be as healthy going into the playoffs as you possibly can. I get it, 3 versus 4. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time we talk, we will know who we're playing and whoever else is playing, and then we can play NFL roulette and see all the scenarios and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sean, thank you so much for coming in and
Kyle,
doing a private session here with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to wish you and your family, again, a great New Year's 2025 to ZaBills Nation, a wonderful New Year's. Hopefully you celebrated, but not too hard last night. And what? I'm going to finish with what Josh Allen usually finishes with Go Bills.
Go Bills. And folks, enjoy the regular broadcasted episode coming up.
Your regular scheduled programming.
Yes. All right. Go Bills.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
This is a Kmart production brought to you by Dudzik Chiropractic and MJB Electric. Welcome to ZaBillsPodcast. If this is your first time, we discuss the Bills games while we review 2 different Buffalo pizzas. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Listeners' discretion is advised. ZaBills Podcast.
Practice makes perfect. Right?
All right, practice does make perfect. I hope you all enjoyed our private little one-on-one sesh with Mr. Sean Bruins Viola, and tonight we're gonna fly through this, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Dennis is here. Tim, welcome back.
Thanks.
Mike, how you doing?
Still here.
Hey, Herb, you're here from the start.
Hell yeah.
You're here for the start. Nice. And then we have our friend Sean, our new favorite Sean. He's in the same seat from the podcast, The Nerds of the Old Republic. Welcome back.
I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Okay, so Bills end up throttling, I guess you could say, to the Jets. Not a very great effort from the Jets, right?
I think it was kind of a weird game.
Yeah.
Because they kind of gave up at one point. And,
Halftime, right? They all checked out at halftime?
Yeah, I think so.
Like the kid from Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Defense still unsettling?
Making me nervous.
Yeah.
Making me nervous.
Yeah.
But
Do you think that the Bills' defense does that for a strategic reason? I was trying to talk it out like it made sense for them to keep their offense on the field longer, but I'm like, yeah, but you want Josh Allen on the field longer. You don't want him resting longer, so that's out the window. Because if they're doing that, stop.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good coaching move for sure.
I mean, opposing coaches have said that their main strategy was to keep Josh off the field.
Yeah.
We don't want to help that.
Right.
We want him on the field.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So there wasn't much else to take out of that game. When the Bills' offense is humming, it's frickin' humming. It's rolling. Just get out of the way, right? Mm-hmm. Very impressive, especially with the lack of what the Bills have, right? How satisfying is it that the Bills have set a franchise record with most points scored without Davis and without Diggs here?
That's huge. You know, that's something that we don't talk enough about because I think at the beginning of the year, most people thought that the Bills would have a down year for the most part. And so our 2 big pass catchers last year, well, for the last 3 or 4 years it is, we don't have.
Yeah.
And it's like we never missed them.
They gone. We don't need them.
Right.
Who's Davis? I don't remember Davis.
He's that guy right there. Right there.
He used to wear Matt Collins' number, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny. Okay, so Josh, so they beat the Jets. Now we're looking at Patriots.
I think Sean wanted to gloat about the downfall of the Jets, and I was kind of down for that because the Jets suck.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
We ended Aaron Rodgers' career.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
He fell one short. Well, he could always play next week, right?
He could, but I mean, let's be real. That's it. That's it. And any meaningful snaps he might have ever taken against
that tenacious Buffalo Bills defense has sacked him, 5 times in the second half or something like that?
And a safety in the first half.
Safety in the first half, yes. Which screwed my wife out of $500 in a pool.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that
it was fun. It was fun explaining to my wife the safety rule. That was a lot of fun. That was one of those.
You know what? Someone here by the end of the night, I'm going to have them explain to me the free kick rule that happened a couple weeks ago.
The Chargers game, I think.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So there's a penalty and a fair catch, and they decide to free kick it?
Right, which is always an option, but typically it's way too far away.
It's the first time that the kick went through since like 76 or 78, something like that.
It doesn't have to be a penalty. It's just on any fair catch. You can then kick it, which you line up basically like you would for a kickoff. And if it goes in the
from where the ball is fair caught from.
Yes.
So the guy shanked a punt?
No, it wasn't a terrible punt. It was.
He just got hit.
The guy got it at his own 45 or something?
Said the 15-yard penalty on it.
Yeah.
So that's what helped him.
Well, I think it was still. Wasn't like a 61-yard kick, though?
Yeah.
So it was a long kick.
It was a long kick.
But the penalty moved it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Could you go back to typically it's too far downfield, and
Right.
they would have been kicking from like the 30.
Right.
Instead, you're kicking from close to midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely neat. I don't think I remember seeing that.
When did the rule change on the safety? You used to have to punt it away. You remember? You would line up like a kick, but you had to punt it, and they just kicked it off.
I was thinking that during the game, and
from the 20.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the shift in how kick coverage is. Teams always punted because the guys were so far downfield. You get more hang time.
Is it the team's option though, or is it like that's what I'm asking? I thought you had to punt it, but maybe
I think it
don't.
might be new this year because of the new kickoff rule.
I believe it was an option before this year.
Okay, I had no clue. I was at the game with my daughter. I'm like, now they have to punt it to us, and they lined up. I'm like, that's not a punt.
Yeah.
So
because I think most of them they would punt it because
you're
in a return mode when you're kicking from the 20 and kicking off.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
Okay. Back to Rodgers. One short of 500 career touchdowns, and the Bills' tenacious. That's where I was going. Tenacious defense set an NFL record for most sacked quarterback of all time.
Yep, and
surpassed Tom Brady.
Yep, nice. Anytime you can beat Brady, there you go.
Do you think those two are up there because they've played the most and have probably ran the most offensive plays?
Probably
of two quarterbacks ever.
Of being sacked, you mean? Yeah, definitely.
Why those two are the most sacked, right? Is that because you think it's...
They play a long time, those guys,
Yeah, right.
I can tell you who's never going to break that record.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Lee Sack.
I think his real name is Josh fucking Allen.
Yes. He could play for 67 years and he would never break that record.
You remind me of that freaking guy on Instagram that is trying to be like Napoleon Dynamite. That guy.
Oh, I've seen that.
Sounds cool.
That is Napoleon Dynamite. That's the actor playing all those roles.
Oh,
gosh, 100% it is. Yeah, it is.
That's him?
It's hysterical. Yep, that's him.
I thought it was a guy that was closely resembled him.
Nope, it's him.
I did too. I thought
no, it's actually like the one this week was Detroit punting and how the Bills won and Josh Allen received the punt. That's him. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's too funny.
What's his name? I'll look it up.
Okay. Here's the question. How long is he the most sacked quarterback for, seeing that Russell Wilson's 12 behind him? Oh. If this is the end of Rodgers' career.
Wow. Russell Wilson's only 12
up there that much?
He's got 556 times Russell Wilson's been sacked.
Wow.
No
Rodgers
kidding.
is at 568, which also means he's been sacked more than he has touchdowns.
That also means the team's got to bring Russell Wilson back to be your starting quarterback.
That's a lot of sacks right there, for sure.
Matt Stafford's at 502. That's another guy that could pass him.
Yeah.
They go.
I can't believe Russ is that close to the record. Like, he hasn't played anywhere near as long as those guys.
But he does hold the ball a lot.
Yeah,
like
he
always
did.
holds the ball a
Yeah,
lot.
especially like early in his career, he took a shit ton of sacks.
Yeah.
I just was relishing the fact that Rodgers looked miserable and just like done with everything, and the team quit on him, and then
the penalty.
Oh, the penalty!
He
was
did
great.
smile. He cracked a smile on the sideline, as did the ref when he got called for that late hit out of bounds.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It seemed like for a couple weeks there was like, oh, Rodgers is doing okay. Like you could see a team giving him a year maybe, and then that Rams game was pretty ugly, and then this game was just like, oh no, he's done. Yeah. He's done.
Do you think he'll play next week?
Well, he took himself out of the game against the Bills.
Oh,
he
tapped out.
Yeah,
like who did that earlier this season? Richardson for the Colts.
Oh yeah. And then didn't Cam Ward in the college football do that too? Just the bowl game that happened like last week, I think.
Was that like a team plan to just have him play the first half or something like that?
Oh, maybe
because he's going to draft prospect. Yeah. Maybe, but
who does he play for?
Miami. The U.
Oh, the U.
Yeah, but unlike Rodgers, Cam Ward had a hell of a first half.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the fears of the playoffs. Or we could talk about who might play, who might not play, and then New England, and then we can talk playoffs.
So
Josh is going to go for his consecutive streak.
Yeah, so he'll probably play a few plays, like a series or a few, maybe a drive, whatever. I was hoping he wouldn't even get on the plane.
Like, no, that's what Sean's.
Yeah, I agree with Sean completely with that. At this point, anyway. And but he's going to play a little bit because it just takes a twist of an ankle, and he's not the same person. He's not the same player he was. Yeah. So that
shocked that it came out. I heard it for the first time in the game on TV that Josh officially fractured his hand in week 1.
Yeah, that came out 2 weeks ago, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm slow to the uptake.
I'd have him hand it off once and then take him out. So
just take a knee.
Do you think Cook should play long enough to get the Buffalo Bill franchise rushing touchdowns, or no?
No, I don't. He might though, but I don't think that he should. I think that everybody at this point, like it's Super Bowl or bust. So I think everybody at this point needs to.
Well, this is like a preseason game, right? Like neither team has anything to win for.
Yep.
Patriots want to lose.
The Patriots want to draft.
Yeah, the Patriots want to lose because they'll get the number 1 draft pick.
Did the Giants win this past weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, idiots.
Yeah, I almost am going to be rooting for the Patriots because fuck them, and like I don't want them to have the first pick.
All right.
Oh, right.
But when the game starts, I'm going to, of course, root for the Bills. But like, it would be kind of better if they didn't have that pick and be able to auction off to all the other teams.
Sure.
If the Bills win, they get the franchise record for most wins in a season, though.
Can you believe that could be the most wins ever in a season? 14 for them?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would thought it would be more than that, right? You look confused, Tim.
Well, I'm just thinking with playoff games during the Super Bowl run, they never had more than 14, or is that just
no,
14
regular
season?
Regular season, yeah.
Well, but you only played 16 games forever. You played what?
Sure.
12 or 14 before that, so it's not like.
Yeah, I guess.
How many years have you actually played?
Right.
I think it's only been 3 or 4.
Yeah. We went 13-3 with Josh before, right?
Yeah.
It actually alternates.
I think 2020, I think.
It goes like 11 wins, 13 wins, 11 wins, 13, or whatever it is. Not whatever. But it's like it's been alternating every single year he's played with us, except for his rookie year.
When you asked about Cook, if they're not playing Saquon, going for Dickerson's record, and I understand it's an extra game and all that stuff, but I'm not playing Cook. He shouldn't play.
Okay. You can't play running back. Your top running back.
Yeah.
Can't play any of
It's too risky.
Can't play any of them. Who are you going to put in there then?
Gore.
Yeah.
And Reggie.
Yeah. Gore and Gilliam. I'm fine with that.
I'd be great giving Gore 20 carries. 25 carries.
Curtis Samuel for quarterback.
There you go.
Is that on the front lawn?
Yep. It's got the sign out there already.
I think they should be sitting their linebackers and safeties too, and just anything they cost us last year.
It'll probably look like we sat them.
Yeah,
that's fine. No problem.
Yeah,
maybe Samuel can play those positions too. He plays everything.
You can't.
Iron Man football.
It's tough because like you can't sit everybody. Of course. So
like
there's still going to be important backups.
There will be starters playing, I think, in this game.
Buffalo Joe, linebacker. Put Buffalo Joe in the whole game.
Yep.
Can he play fullback?
Probably.
I don't know who would.
Let's find out.
Well, Bale Inspector's hurt. We cut Morrow. Like I don't even know who.
We already cut that guy.
Yeah.
He was here for 2 days.
Yeah.
He celebrated New Year's here and left.
Yeah, no,
He gone.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be
You
back.
think Codrington will play corner the whole game?
Oh,
then?
probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
put
don't
him
know.
out there.
He's
We
a
need
kick
him as
returner.
you need him.
And I mean, the preseason, you have 90 guys on your roster.
Dennis,
Right.
what happened to the
Something,
days where these dudes were playing multiple positions in a game?
You know,
McGee?
McGee. That was always fun to watch, big time. Maybe what's his name, Hunter from Colorado is going to bring it back. Maybe he's going to be a wide receiver, a cornerback for somebody next year. You never know.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Kyrie Elam's going to go in and just ball out of his mind the whole game. Like, the guy's the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You guys are here. Is that experiment done? The Elam experience?
It should
Done?
be.
He's playing the whole game this week.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
He had a decent playoffs last year, but he doesn't have it. He's not with this defense.
I don't think he gets enough game reps.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit this defense.
No.
He never play man.
Right.
He's the best. He was the best man corner they had coming out of the college draft that year. But we don't play man.
Yeah.
Why would they
He just
take him
doesn't
then?
show it. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because he's a playmaker, I think.
They were
But-
shell shocked by the Chiefs taking McDuffie in front of him. I know we wanted McDuffie, and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Where's he now?
Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe that's why you slid down some and you took Coleman at wide receiver. Because, again, you were in a position where you had to get a wide receiver. That year, you were in a position you had to get a corner, and you just took the best one there. This year, you traded down a couple times, and you took the guy that you thought fit what you wanted rather than just taking who everyone thought would be the best one.
Tim, I'm glad you brought this up. Did the Bills strike out on that pick compared to getting Worthy when you can have him, or that other stud for Jacksonville? Thomas, right?
Well, Thomas was gone.
Yeah, that wasn't even an option.
10 picks before you're supposed to pick. So
Right.
that's off the table. So really, it's Worthy, who honestly, if you can't use a gadget guy like Samuel, how are you going to use Worthy?
The one that still hurts me
Unless
is
it's all about injury, and that's why he's not been able to stay on the field.
the one that still hurts is not taking Ladd McConkey there.
Who?
He's an absolute stud.
Yeah,
he's
he
for the
is.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him week 2.
But he's a slot
Yeah.
guy.
I think he could play outside.
Should Coleman play inside?
No, with
He's
his
not a
size-
speedster,
Shakir
right?
too much
No,
there.
but with his size, though, they're using him the way they should use him. You know, putting him up on those one-on-ones in the end zone. That scramble touchdown this weekend where Josh pointed, told him to go.
Yeah, but should he be the
That's
sideline guy, though? Like, the deep?
No, that should be Amari Cooper. And then you put
Yeah.
him out when you're going to go one-on-one. Like I said, you throw the jump ball. He's had some deep throws to him, of course, but I want him in the red zone. Put him in the corner that fade back to the end zone. He's the one I'm putting it up to.
Well, I guess I'm concerned because Kincaid hasn't been really used as we would hope to be that dominant guy in the middle of the field. You know, I know he.
With Shakir, it's tough because he's got the rapport with Allen that they want it with Kincaid, right?
Yeah.
But Shakir's so good, and he's got, except from a couple of drops the last couple of games, his hands are money like every time.
Yeah.
Even with those drops, it's still like 80-something% catch rate.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him.
Shakir's
Right.
the perfect slot guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Keon. I don't think he's been like overly disappointing. I think he's been fine.
I think Allen's learning how to use him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the last couple
yeah.
of games, you've seen Coleman's telling him to go up
Or
with it.
Brady's
Yeah.
learning how to use them.
Yeah,
I
that
think it's
too.
Josh. I think Josh didn't know how to throw those high balls because he's never had a guy that can jump as high as him.
That
Now
Coleman,
he's got it.
Yeah,
that
and
Coleman
that
touchdown
tall,
this weekend
yeah.
was backyard ball.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
just go, and because if you watch that Coleman route, had him going across the middle to the right, and he caught it in the back and the left.
Well, he had another guy breaking over there too. I don't
Did
know if
he?
that was Shakir or somebody was
Ty
behind-
Johnson.
Ty Johnson was behind him, so he had a couple options for a jump ball, and he just threw it up to him.
Well, and even look, you threw that jump ball earlier in the game that Coleman caught that got called back as a penalty.
Right. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
but I think
that was a
part
great
of it,
play.
you're almost retraining Josh because for how long has he been told don't throw that jump ball?
Right.
You don't have that guy that can go up and moss someone or go up there and high point it.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a part of the playbook.
Guy jumps 3 feet off the ground, flat footed. Like he's
insane.
got that guy now. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the piece there. I don't know if it's that Brady figured out how to use him. I think it's more so Josh is finally got to the point where he's not afraid to throw that ball because for how long has it been? We got to cut back turnovers.
And he has the confidence in the receiver too, which is huge, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, that throw to Cooper too. That back
Oh, yeah.
shoulder.
Oh,
left
my
shoulder
God.
Throw. Oh my God.
And then he paid the price for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he knocked the wind out of him. He just let it flat in his back, you know.
Yeah.
And Cooper hit hard, but that throw was like one of the best throws I've ever seen Josh
Yep.
Allen make.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a friggin' throw.
Has anyone ever Has anyone had the wind knocked out of him recently? I hated that when that happened.
Not recently.
Not since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't put myself in those situations anymore.
That was the worst.
Yeah, I'm not that active anymore.
Yeah, when I get up off the couch, it knocks the wind out of me.
That's funny.
You got stairs over there, right?
Yeah.
You slip a disc when you sneeze now. It's
I
was just going to say, I strained something when I sneezed the other day.
Yeah.
I'm out 2 to 3 weeks.
You know, I was
Probably the youngest one at the table.
I was at a favorite chiropractor today.
Hey, yeah, about that. Dr. Bob.
Yeah, Dr. Bob, go see him. Does a chiropractic. We'll get his number here in a moment.
I got it for you. 716-634-6272 or visit Doug'sChiropractic.com.
Where are his locations?
He's got one at Harris Hill and Worley, and the other one is on Harlem Road by the cemetery.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got a disc problem? Check him out.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah. Tell him ZaBill sent you.
He's good. He's been taking care of me for a long time. A lot of us for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no joke sneezing. It's dangerous.
I'm off the sneezes no more.
Yeah, right. And then obviously we'll talk about our other sponsor, Mike, over at MJB Electric for your... Well, we had a situation here, but we're not going to get into the details, so we might have to give him a call. Speaking of calling them, 716-465-5017 for your residential and commercial needs and requirements. Thanks to them too, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good electrical. There you go.
Yes. Okay, so right now it looks like the Bills are probably going to play the Broncos, correct?
Probably.
I hope so.
But the Dolphins still have a shot, and the Bengals still have a shot.
Yep.
Now, you guys seem to be more scared of the Bengals. Is that because of our previous playoff history with the Bengals the last couple weeks or couple years?
The last 8 weeks of the season, they've been
on fire.
Yeah, I mean their offense is just putting up numbers. They're losing because of their defense, the early ones. I'm afraid of them.
Track meet game.
Out of all the teams, including the Chiefs and Ravens, they might be the scariest.
Come on.
Because of how bad of a matchup they are for us with their two ridiculously studly receivers. They already beat us in our house in the playoffs. I'm not forgetting about that. We've never done anything against Burrow. I do think the Bills are going to score at will against them, but I think they could score at will against us. And, yeah, I mean, they
need the most help, right?
If they come in and they're on that win streak and they're the 7th seed, they're playing I don't know what the phrase is.
Nothing to lose?
Yeah, it's house money. House money for them.
But think of the story. The Bills beat Burrow, Jackson, and Mahomes to go to the Super Bowl and then beat Hurts or whatever. Like that would be
awesome.
That would be like then you can't argue anymore. You can't say that Josh Allen isn't one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You can't say that the Bills are one of the best teams of all time. If you went through that storyline, that would be
that gauntlet.
That would be incredible. I would take that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather not, but I mean,
to beat the best, you got to beat the best, right?
Absolutely.
Like, we said that before.
And to win it, you got to get to it.
Yeah.
So, Bengals, huh? Okay.
I think the Broncos will win. The Broncos are playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't going to play their starters, at least a whole lot anyway. And so I think the Broncos will win it.
Broncos should win.
Because the Broncos win and they're in, I think, right?
And that's it. Everyone else is closed out.
Yep.
And honestly, if you're Kansas City, you probably don't want Cincinnati there either.
No.
I mean, the way they're cooking.
Only 2 quarterbacks have ever beaten Mahomes in the playoffs, and that's one of them. So,
and I mean, at the end of the day, if the Bengals are what are they 8-8? If the Bengals are 11-5 like the Ravens, you probably got more Joe Burrow talk for MVP than you got Lamar talk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after this week, it's all over, though, because they do the voting after this week.
Correct, but I'm just saying, if you flip the Bengals and the Ravens record, everyone will be talking about Joe Burrow for MVP.
He's already in the conversation. Some of the shows that I watch, he's already in the conversation. Broncos have to win and they're in. Miami would need the Broncos to lose and Miami to win, and then the Bengals would need both the Broncos and the Dolphins to lose. So they need the most help.
Yeah.
Dolphins play who?
Jets.
So that's a win.
Should be a win.
Maybe
I don't know, man.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers throws his 500th touchdown.
Yeah, why
I
the
thought I
Jets
saw
put up-
Tua. They're planning on Tua not playing too.
Tua's not
Yeah,
playing.
That'd be the
I
most
think
Miami
the
thing ever.
Jets should win that game. That's going to be like the Jets Super Bowl. They're those pathetic losers. That's going to be their Super Bowl for the season. And Rodgers' little going away party.
Do the Jets have one more win than the Patriots?
Yes, they got
Yeah,
4.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, 4-12.
Yeah, the Jets are 4-12. Patriots are 3-13.
Yep.
And the Giants won a 4th game?
Can you imagine the New York tabloids if both the Giants and Jets win this week and get to 5 wins and go from having like top 5 picks to like into
Yeah.
mediocrity?
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
The Giants have 3 wins as well. So I'm not sure.
Oh, the Giants don't have the tiebreakers. Must be what it is.
Yeah.
Because the Giants of all the 3-win teams, they'd be picking 4. Because right now,
Yeah, like
right now it would go New England, Titans, Cleveland, Giants.
Oh, my God.
Isn't it like even like the 9th or 10th pick has 4 wins? Like there's a lot of bad teams this year, more than usual.
Yeah, Patriots, Titans, and Browns all have 3. Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, and Giants all have 4.
Okay, let me ask you this question about the Bills' defense. Splitting them up, the defense, into 3 pieces. D-line, linebackers, secondary. Of those 3 categories, which one makes you nervous about the defense going forward in the playoffs? Is it the D-line?
Well, right now for me, it's secondary just because of injuries. If they get healthy, then that changes my answer.
Because I think if the Bills can put pressure on any of those quarterbacks and those teams, I feel like they can do a lot better in terms of keeping points off the board. It's when they don't get pressure on any of these teams and they light it up on us or they run the ball down our throat and then they run play action at the perfect ideal time. And
See, I think it's the coaching, to be honest.
coaching, none of the players.
Well, I mean, I think we can talk a lot about how
Coaches
Ed
coach,
Oliver-
players play, Denny.
They do definitely do that. Maybe the coaches should go out there and play. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, but they don't blitz enough. I think they have to blitz. They have to show some pressure. Our front 4 can't get there. They just can't consistently anyway. Against the Jets they did, but I mean, not against a good team.
Yeah, you could make the argument for any of them. I mean, linebacker, is Milano going to be back to Milano by the time we start the playoffs?
He's
'Cause
starting
that
to show
would be-
glimpses last week, right?
Yeah, that would be a game changer if he's looking more
What's
like
Bernard's
himself.
injury? I know it's day to day, week to week now.
Hopefully that's not something serious. That's another thing to be worried about.
Is Dorian Williams ready to go?
I think he's played pretty well, but
Is
I
he
think
ready
if
to go?
he's- I don't think he's as good as Milano.
Answer the question. Is he ready to go?
I think he's fine if he goes in there. Like he's okay.
He's healthy is what I'm asking.
Oh, well, yeah, he's been missing a lot of snaps.
Okay.
But well, that's also with Milano playing. But then when Milano went down, he was like splitting snaps with Spector, so I don't know what the hell what's his injury?
Well, Williams had an injury too. He had a hand injury.
Yeah,
But
Dorian.
they didn't want to
yeah.
rush him back in.
Yeah.
So when you say Milano's better than Williams, is this version of Milano we see right now better than Williams, or are you referring to the
Historically.
Milano we know?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, of course the Milano we're used to is better.
Let's talk about
So
Milano now.
If this is the only Milano we're going to get, is what we've seen the last few weeks, I don't know if he's better than Dorian Williams.
See, I thought the Jets game you at least saw glimpses.
Yeah. I think he should be rounding into form.
I think Milano looked a little bit better in the Jets game. Even on the fumble recovery he had, I think Aaron Rodgers took a little bit of a business decision there. And then Milano got the ball, obviously. But I think that shows like kind of instincts a little bit too. I think his instincts are coming back. He hadn't played in a real long time, like a year and a half, and he played against San Francisco, and I think he got hurt almost right away with like a groin or something. Then he was out for a game or two. So I think he just got to get back in there and kind of figure shit out.
I'd still take 70% Milano versus Williams just because of his experience. He knows the defense, and he's like they're like a de facto captain out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want the guy who knows what's going on out there, and he's got that instinct for where the ball is going to be.
Yeah.
That's just something that a lot of players don't have. He got it.
So here's a question for the who do you sit, who don't you sit. We all know that when you come back from an injury, there's ready and game ready or game shape, right? So do you let him play on Sunday, or do we sit him and let's have him healthy?
I think you got to let him play.
I think you got to let him play a little bit.
Maybe a few.
Because him sitting another week does not help him with getting game ready.
Especially because he missed the game back there.
Yep.
I think you got to play him.
I think it's a perfect opportunity for game pace. Like, again, New England doesn't really want to win this game, so it's just a good opportunity for him to get reps, to get out there and run and, get his position down.
Well, like Dew said a couple weeks ago, you're destined. If you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt no matter when you play, right?
I do believe that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with Milano, because he's had so many different little injuries now since the big injury last year, that you got to play him a little bit, but don't have him in there all game long. All
right. So another Milano question, then we can go to another person. If Milano stays the way he is for the duration of the playoffs, does he return next year? If he doesn't jump out of his shoes like I'm back and I'm back and I'm Milano, does he come back next year?
Is his contract up?
No, but
I don't think so. But I don't know what the situation there is.
I don't see him being back.
Yeah,
I think
it might be the last year of his deal.
Herb, he gone?
I mean, how bad are we saying? Like, I mean, if he
doesn't improve, if he's the same guy.
I mean, I think if he doesn't play better, he could get benched early in the playoffs.
And then his ticket's punched?
And that, because I think Dorian's more stout against the run right now, and Milano's better, the coverage guy.
And Von Miller is 100% gone after this season, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how he's not, but
yeah.
Okay.
I think unless Milano takes a pay cut after this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
get the hometown discount with all this free money coming. Could buy some players. Miles Garrett.
I think you got some young guys that are finishing year 3 that you're going to have to find money for.
Rousseau?
You're going to have Benford.
Oh, yeah.
Rousseau.
You're going to have Rousseau.
Yeah.
You're going to have Bernard.
Yeah.
You got Cook. You got Shakir.
Bernard at all costs.
So, I mean,
right?
at the end of the day,
yeah,
if he's back next year, that's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the money. Now, what excites me about Milano back is that if you get another matchup with Baltimore, you could see 4-3 because I think they have enough confidence in Williams, Milano, and Bernard. The question is, will they be willing to take Teron Johnson off the field?
I mean, that seems like a much better matchup, 4-3 against that team.
Why do you have to take Teron Johnson out? Couldn't you take Bishop out or somebody?
Teron Johnson's a slot corner.
Yeah, you got to have
He's never
two
really played on the
safeties out
outside.
there.
Is he one of the better tacklers of the secondary for playing against the run?
Yeah, but
with Henry,
he's playing out of position.
No,
I mean, where are you going to put him?
They don't really have a slot receiver that scares you.
You know what I was thinking about was with Teron Johnson, with taking him out. You hate to take him out because he's so good, but it's kind of like last year when we faced Dallas. Like Dallas had some undersized linebackers. That's why we ran all over them, and that's why Deion Dawkins had a great day and things like that. Yeah, but they had some undersized players, so they were easy to kind of push around a little bit. So when you put the 4-3 out there, put the bigger guys out there, and try to tackle Henry. Which
Speaking of the Snowman, I want to give him a shout out. Congratulations on the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, him and Josh.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah,
a lot of other guys made it as like alternates, I guess. Too.
Yeah, like 7 other Bills.
Yeah.
I think I saw Patrick Mahomes didn't make it.
He did not.
Mm-hmm.
He did not.
If Teron Johnson's
whoa, he wasn't picked at all.
Nope.
First time in his career as a starter that he wasn't picked.
Holy shit!
I was gonna say, with Teron Johnson not on the field, less chance of him hurting one of your players. So, right? I mean,
very true. Yeah.
there is an upside.
No, you're talking about Rap, aren't you?
Oh, I think okay. Never mind.
Rap is the one that's got the Guardian for hitting his own guys.
Never mind.
Dangerous.
It's a Rap.
Okay, 4-3 is an interesting concept versus the Ravens because you probably have to spy Lamar Jackson, and then Mark Andrews is pretty damn good, right? Is he having a good season this year?
Not one of his best, but he's. I mean, you have to treat him like he's good.
And then you got Derrick Henry
and Isaiah Likely. Like they have the 2 tight ends run up the seam. Like they're still dangerous in the middle of the field. But I think Dorian Williams would probably be your best spy for Lamar in terms of tackling and speed.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm playing the Ravens, I'm not letting Derrick Henry beat me.
No.
We've seen Lamar in high pressure situations.
True.
Make mistakes.
Derrick Henry is consistent against us.
Derrick Henry's the one that
Always has been, yeah.
Yes.
If I'm on a,
No big runs.
I don't want Henry to beat me. End of the day.
Baltimore, they learned last year that not to get away from your game plan. Right,
Run.
like they just abandoned the run immediately versus the Chiefs, and it cost them. So they won't do that again. I bet.
Correct. And
Yeah, if you can get them behind the sticks in like second and third and longs, then you can bring Taron Johnson right onto the field,
Well-
and you start off with the 4-3 on the early downs, end the run game, or
So you bring
do your
him.
best to
So you
end
bring
it.
him in and Von Miller in on passing situations.
Yeah,
Do you know who I think our best defensive player is?
Josh Allen.
Yes.
No, I explain why to the fans.
Well, so because if our offense is on the field, that means our shitty defense isn't. And so, to me, that's a good thing.
You're so negative.
I'm a little cranky today, I guess. Back hurts a little bit, I mean,
From carrying all of us? Is that why it hurts? Yeah.
that's why. Yeah, I carried the pizzas down. So,
They were heavy pizza.
that's not wrong. It's definitely right. Like the more,
I guess-
ball control offense.
I mean, honestly, I think I'm with a lot of different teams. When you look at it, when you have the kind of defense that we have, like the bend but don't break type guys,
They need to show up when it counts now.
exactly.
In the playoffs, you show up and you keep a team to 18, 21 points, and you can still can score 30 or more, then I'm going to feel good about the playoffs.
But
What?
No, I felt this way for weeks, and I'm sitting here smiling because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Not that I don't want to talk about it, but I want our defense to be good. Remember over a couple of years where our defense was stout and our offense just couldn't keep it clicking. Why can't we have both? And I understand how it all works with the salary cap, pay the blah blah blah. But why can't we have both?
Is it
Just
because
one
of our
year.
coach?
He does have his head up his ass.
Oh, yeah.
If you ask me, I'm just saying.
But I mean, or is it also because you know that you can put up 30 to 40 points in any given day? So instead of playing aggressive defensively, you're going to sit back and you're just going to make sure they don't hit the big home run play because you have confidence you can take the ball away.
But here again, though, if you're sitting back and they're putting together some longer drives, your best player is not on the field.
True.
That's my thing. And listen, you don't have to be. I understand your thought process on that. You don't have to be guns a-blazing every single time you're out there. But some games this year have been hard to watch defensively. And you're like, they're just running all over us. Now, you said it earlier, hopefully on this take, that the difference was the turnovers. We got the turnovers this time around.
That was the last podcast.
Yeah. However, yes, our turnover ratio is great this year. It's huge, and I'm not trying to take away anything from that. We've had some games where we haven't had them of late, so we need to put all that together, right? And we're going to be facing teams that are just better than the Jets, period. So I'm still nervous. I'm just nervous.
I'm going to push back on that.
All right, Sean.
First pushback of the podcast.
I'm going to say that I think our defense is going to play amazing.
All right.
I think they're just going to. It's going to be like, what the hell? Where have these guys been all year?
Can I have some of your optimistic pills that you're overdosing on?
Me too,
These
Jesus.
are prescription only.
Okay.
But no, I really.
I know a guy.
I really feel like the defense is looked pretty weak the last few weeks. But if you remember the beginning of the season, they looked pretty damn good. I think that team can come back. I feel like the playoffs. It's a different time.
And one of our favorite sayings on this podcast is, "I will gladly eat crow."
No,
I will gladly.
I like what Sean's saying, and I think about the Lions game, and
Not
I know
sun-
the defense
not
gave up
sundress season?
1,000,000 points. Yeah, we gave up all those points and all those yards, but they made 2 stops on the first 2 drives. We scored 2 touchdowns, and the Bills were in control the whole game. And I don't care that we gave up 42 points. We were ahead the whole game. I never was worried, except when they the second onside kick when they're fighting in the
that was close.
The scrum there. But like
When Tron Johnson was getting
all
touched
we
by some
need,
people.
our
Oils
defense
checked.
at home. Our defense at home. Those first 2 games, they'll make a few stops, and that's all you need.
Speaking of home, did I hear correctly that that's the first time the Bills went undefeated at home all season?
Oh, 90,
In the regular?
since 92, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was 88-90 we've done it.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. Sorry, Herb. Continue.
Yeah, no, they'll make a few stops. I mean, I definitely like picturing that Ravens game. We're going to stop. Lamar's going to get into 3rd and 9, and we're going to stop him. That's going to happen a couple times in the game, at least.
Mike, how do you and I get to this mindset? The confidence.
I'm just envisioning it. I'm sitting in my seat and just picturing what's happening.
We just have to miss the first quarter of every game.
Well, yeah, you got to sleep through the first. Yeah.
The sad part is Detroit was the only game they showed up for the first quarter.
No,
They had a game plan
I
to
was
begin with.
teasing him,
Oh, I
not the
know.
Bills.
Well, but I mean, most games they get shredded out of the gate.
Yes. Did the Bills stammer coming out of the gates this game? I think I missed the
They were a
first
little-
series.
They were a little sluggish offensively.
They're a little
scored
slow,
on the
but
first one, didn't
yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of slop. There was all those penalties.
The scripted. Wow, that game was definitely
Yeah.
little aggressive. Chippy.
It was very
Yeah.
chippy. Yeah.
Very chippy. Lots of unsportsmanlike penalties.
Yeah.
I
in that
don't
game.
think the Bills are amped up to play the Patriots and Jets right now. Like they're
Trap
just
game.
not. They don't like it. Like Sean was saying, it's the playoffs are going to be totally different. You're going to unlock playoff Josh, and at home for those two games, like he's going to be lights out. There's no doubt he's going to be dominant, and he's going to not let us lose.
The team will feed off that energy too.
Yeah, there's no chance that he's not going to be playing incredibly dominantly. That's all he ever has done.
What if Kansas City loses that game prior to the AFC Championship? We could have 3 home games.
Right?
Tim,
That'd be
you
great.
got
That's
your
the
ticket
first-
for that yet?
I got them for all of them.
Nice.
It's joys of season.
That'd be the first time the AFC Championship game has been here since like '94, I think.
I was at that game. It was
Denver?
against Kansas City.
okay.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I was at that game. Yep.
Okay.
Damn, Joe Montana got them to the AFC Championship game.
Player, right?
The Nigerian nightmare.
Yeah. Speaking of people that run all over us, Jesus, he always killed us.
Yeah. He's a big dude. Or it was all pads. Was he all pads?
Not all, but he had the neck thing like we were talking about with Spencer Brown.
Yeah,
He
like
had that
Gardner.
All-Star too.
Carwell Gardner.
Carwell
Yeah.
Gardner,
Yeah.
35. He
Mike
had that.
Allstott.
You know where my brain went?
Yeah.
Rick Vive. Oh, Sabres. He had that thing.
Yeah.
You don't see many guys with the neck roll out there anymore.
No.
Spencer Brown just
Yeah,
strapped
Spencer
it up.
Brown's bringing it back.
You know what? He has had some frustrating plays, but he
I like
and
him,
Dawkins are playing. That offensive line is playing pretty darn good this year.
You know,
It is.
I saw something the other day that I knew this, but seeing it is different. Josh is 6'5". And there was a picture of him with all of the starting linemen, and he's the
Spencer
shortest
Brown.
one. He's the shortest one. I'm like, these men are massive. You know, I'm
Spencer
6'2".
Brown is huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
What's he, like,
Spencer
6'8",
Brown's
6'9"?
he's a full head taller than Josh.
Oh yeah.
It's like 6'9".
That's
He's
not like you
6'8",
guys are
yeah.
saying. That sustains the drives in the playoffs when you can have a dominant offensive line and you can just keep the ball in Josh's hands. He just hands off to Cook or he runs or whatever, and you just keep getting
7, 8,
first
9
down.
minute drives. Fine with all that.
You know, I guess my number one fear is I don't want to have to use the injury bug as a excuse this year.
No.
I don't. I
Well,
don't want
knock
that.
on something, but like right now, it's looking pretty as good as it's looked going into the
Yeah.
playoffs
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
the
it
whole Allen era.
Yeah.
By far. Like last year, injuries killed us. Last year, injuries are why we lost to the Chiefs.
Yep.
Because they had those 8-9 minute drives every freaking drive.
Well, and a monumental drop by Diggs didn't help.
Well, the receivers didn't come through, and now we got the receiver depth.
Yep.
Need some big catches.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Keon. I don't remember if it was this one or the other.
It was not.
But yeah, a big Keon playoffs. I could see that.
Yeah.
Could definitely see that happening.
I feel like he's had a good rookie year, and it's been a rookie year because he's been not consistent. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what a rookie year.
And he was
kinda
injured.
is. Yeah.
You know, so that didn't help. But
Yeah.
he's doing what we ask him to do, you know, now.
Hopefully, McDumbass won't get outcoached very badly.
You never know. I mean,
Nick Dumb head up his ass. Is that-
yeah, there you go. Now we're talking. I hope that he pulls his head out of his ass.
Yes.
We'll find out. I think we'll find out. I think that I thought after the Chiefs game about him turning a corner, which then the Rams game happened, and I was like, well, he didn't turn the corner very far. So I guess we'll see. You know, I don't think he's had any screw ups in the last couple of games. So I guess we'll just see,
And I haven't seen a lot of the McDermott, the 4th and 1 fake punt burn timeout.
Yeah, true.
I think I've seen it once.
I think that's going to be the playoff 2025 special.
I just hope they don't.
The trick play?
Yeah.
I hope they don't abandon what got them here. Like everybody eats, like that
Yeah.
whole mentality, just the team and everything. Like
I
they
don't
just
think
gotta
they
stick
will.
with it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Yeah. I do have to bail, so I'm going to give you my pick. Bills 31, New England 16.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
That's very original, Mike.
I know. Just for you guys who are, I pick 31 every week. So.
All right, Mike. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Go
All right,
Bills.
see you. Go Bills. Okay, Herb, you guys have all talked about what if the Bengals. So the Bengals are the only ones that scare you guys.
I mean, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be that game. I think could completely shoot.
Denver's doesn't scare you whatsoever.
No. The only thing that would scare me about that game is, just like the Pittsburgh game, we lost like 3 defensive starters in the Pittsburgh game last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what scares me for that game, but we're going to beat them. Yeah, I don't know. And going back to McDermott, like, all these coaches make stupid decisions every game.
They do. They were talking about
including
Raheem
Andy
Morris.
Reid, including Mike Tomlin. Like, these coaches make terribly stupid decisions all the time, every single game, every one of them.
So it's a matter of who makes the least.
I mean, it's a
Does
matter of
Andy
which
Reid-
team can overcome them.
Have you ever seen Andy Reid make a dumb decision?
Yeah.
Oh, give me one.
I've seen him punt 4th and 5 on the opponent's 45-yard line, like with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. I've seen him snap the ball to not Patrick Mahomes. And every time he does that, it's like, thank you, Chiefs. Thank you for not snapping to Patrick Mahomes, you morons.
Yeah.
Like, he's not perfect either. He's a great coach, but, like, I think when it's your team and, like, the fans can easily pile on a head coach, and McDermott's definitely had some, like, glaring huge mistakes that we all know, but, like, I don't think he's any worse than a lot of these like, I think he's overall a very well above average coach.
Look at Dan Campbell as a comparison.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell makes some boneheaded decisions all the time, but people are sucking his dick left and right because he's such a great coach and he's such a good players coach.
You know what I like about him is he doesn't throw anybody under the bus.
No, he always takes the blame. That's the one thing that's better than McDermott, I think, is he knows that it stops with him, and he'll just say, I made a bad choice. If it worked out, I wouldn't great, and it didn't work out. Right. He owns it. But
the Lions, oh my God, they have the biggest game of the season in the entire NFL next week. This game on Monday night against the Niners meant nothing. And everyone's playing, and they have 18 guys on IR. What are you doing? That's insane.
It was for fantasy championships.
Yeah,
man.
I know. That's
I had
all
Jared
I
Goff.
could think
I was
of.
happy.
Like,
I was real happy.
that's all I could think of is, like, you got to get the fantasy titles.
McDermott and Campbell are the polar opposites. Campbell's going to
Yeah.
get burned because he's way too aggressive.
Yep.
And at times, McDermott gets burned because he's not aggressive enough.
it's the same argument, though.
I mean,
they make decisions based on
correct.
their philosophy.
And I know Dennis, the Mr. Head Up His Ass, but I mean, how many coaches can you say without, like, off the top of your head, can you say are better than him?
Not very many. That's for sure.
So, I mean, it's kind of like pick your flaws. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, look at some of these offense. Oh, we're going to hire this guy. They're the hot coordinator, and then they flop. They flame out. I mean,
Yeah. I'll say, like, I hated McDermott his first year. And, like, he's making these ridiculous punt decisions. And I'm like, this is Rex Ryan, Doug Marrone, Dick Duran all over again. Like, this is – but he actually did. He actually improved and learned from his mistakes and learned you got to be more aggressive. Okay, now we have Josh Allen. We can go for it on 4th down a lot more.
I think he's going for it every 4th and 4 or shorter.
Almost everyone. There was a couple against the Ravens that really pissed me off, but
I
other than
think
that,
first,
he's been really good.
Versus those high-end quarterbacks, he's going for it on those plays. Now, you play Denver? Maybe not, because you're not as afraid of their offense.
Right.
You play Cincinnati? Hell yeah, you're going for it on 4th down because of the offense. But, I mean, and honestly, at the end of the day, the McDermott piece, I think all it shows is how high the expectations are here now.
If you're a leading on a Ravens or a Bengals team, are they still going for it?
Yeah. If it's a one-score game, because you don't want to get the ball back.
if you're up 4, you're not punting to Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But I think if anything, when it goes back to this whole McDermott piece, all it shows is the expectations are through the roof right now.
Yeah.
We've had, what have the expectations been for most of our lifetime? The expectations have been what?
Shit.
For the last 20, 35 years. Crap.
Yeah.
There was no expectation. Look at the damn Sabres. They ain't gone to the damn playoffs in like 14 years, lost 13 in a row, the whole 9 yards. Hell, the Bills will probably win more games this year than the Sabres win for all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's Super Bowl or bust.
I think up until their 3-game winning streak, the Bills had won more games.
They did.
And I mean,
They did.
It's Super Bowl or bust for this team. That's the reality.
What happens if the Bills don't get to the Super Bowl?
I cry.
No, yes, we all will. But in terms of Sean McDermott's job security,
He's fine.
He's not going
Nothing
anywhere.
changes. He's not going anywhere. Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
It's a
you guys are
rebuilding.
definitely right. I'm being pretty harsh, but you guys are definitely right. He's a great coach. All that other stuff, all the other coaches suck in their own right.
No pushback, huh?
No. I'm sticking tall with what I'm saying here. He's got his head up his ass, but he's still a good coach. Talk to me in 2 months. Let's see what happens.
They went 13-3 with one of the worst dead cap hits in the league.
Yeah.
With almost nobody to throw to or to, it's incredible what they've been able to do with what they've got.
Now, you want to talk about who needs to go? The special teams coach.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
Yeah, he's definitely gone.
He gone. I definitely have McDermott in a big game, and he's got to make some big late game decisions. Like, I don't trust him.
You know
but I
who
wouldn't
he, you know
trust
who
any
he needs
other
to call
coach
on his
either.
radio? He needs to call up to that referee that he hired.
Oh,
That guy's
yeah.
probably seen all kinds of
The
football
rules
plays.
expert,
He
yeah.
probably knows what should be called and what play. You know what I mean? Like a decision, yes or no, kind of a decision. Like that guy probably would have a better idea because he's seen it happen in front of him on the field. Like, oh my god, could you believe those fucking guys went for it? They should have done this. You know what I mean? From just seeing it, I'm just saying, like, he
You
needs
think
that voice of reason.
They always hire these rules experts on every telecast, and it's like, I don't need to hear from this dickhead. I know what happened.
What are you talking about? Gene Steratore?
Gene's territory. That's who it is.
Yeah.
That guy is everywhere.
He gets around.
He does.
I remember he did a Bills game, and then 2 seconds later, he was doing another game. I'm like, this guy works constantly.
They got him doing like NBA games and
Yes.
college basketball. Like he's everywhere.
He's done some college basketball at Niagara, so for all you know, he probably did a Bills game that shot up to the Gallagher Center and was
Yeah.
reffing a basketball game out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our picks. And then next week, when we know who we're playing, then we can really get to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Sean, why don't you start us off with your pick?
Bills for sure. 21-10.
Okay. And, we should have done a plus-minus on how many starters play. I'm going to say probably 50%. They have to. They don't have that many people to call up.
You're probably right.
What's your definition of play?
Yeah.
Like Josh Allen could play one play just to keep. his
Yeah, but you're going to
people
have more bodies.
count?
You're going to have a lot of bodies that are...
Yeah.
I think that they'll play, but they're not going to play. You know what I mean? Like,
All right, so it's a preseason game. So if you have chores to do and if the weather's decent, go do them. All right, Herb.
Man, I don't know. I don't feel like it could go either way, but
9-3.
we're gonna score a couple touchdowns.
Couple.
I could kind of see us blowing them out, but I'll go with like 26-9 Bills.
Okay, let's do this too. In your prediction, give me who comes in to relieve Josh Allen.
I think it'll be Trubisky for at least a half.
same.
So they're going to do 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah, that sounds like the right move. Yeah, give Trubisky like, if I were to predict, I'd say Josh plays one drive, Trubisky plays into the third quarter, and Mike White gets, mid third to the end of the game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, Tim.
I don't know. I was just looking at what the line is in the game.
Yeah, are we favored?
Oh, we're 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
But
Well, we already
What's the
talked about how
over-under?
Vegas knows what they're doing.
I should have looked
over-under
at
is
this.
38.
38.
I don't know how to predict this game, to be perfectly honest. Drake may playing or not playing. what does it look like versus the backups? At the end of the day,
if I were the Patriots, I'd sit that kid. He's good. I wouldn't want him getting hurt.
I think they said something about he's going to start, but he's not going to play the whole game.
At the end of the day, I expect another 24-21 game, similar to how we had last week, that it's probably boring-ass football.
I can get down with that.
And I think at the end of the day, we probably come out on top, probably because you let Josh Allen play a series and get the 14 different receiver touchdown.
Okay. So everybody else calling that's going to happen or no? I can see him fall short.
Yeah, I think we'll fall short of the 14. I think it'll be Bills 31 to 24, Patriots, and I think that
Patriots going to win?
No, Bills are win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bills will definitely win. And that'll be great because that'll be the 14 wins, so that'll break the the record.
Yeah, but that'd display your prediction from the beginning of the year, right? You said 13-4. Yeah, I mean, what do you lose
close,
by
right?
Plus or minus
by a game?
Plus or minus one?
Yeah. I mean, this isn't Vegas, right? I mean,
true. House money.
Well, I got to stick with my winning streak here, so I'm going Bills. 21, Patriots 18.
See, I think that Tyler Bass is going to kick a couple field goals, I think.
To get his leg warmed up?
It's not a bad idea. Get him a couple kicks, ideally.
They're going to have him do from 50 yards only. 50-ish around.
So we'll say this podcast we'll say this come out and say this podcast is done on a Thursday night. Has anyone looked at the weather for that area for Sunday? Like, what is it? Is it going to be shitty, nasty? Hey, Dennis, how much snow did you get at your house?
Nothing.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the weather at all there.
Just curious if there's going to be nasty.
Relatively low over under. So I mean, although it's going to be back.
It's preseason football.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious if it was going to be shitty weather or just a January day of 28 degrees. And
I'll say I'm going to be way more interested in the games to decide the 7 seed than our game.
Okay. Well, last question before I send you all home or relieve you. Yes.
Real quick. On Sunday, it looks like a high of 31.
Oh, perfect.
Foxborough.
Okay. Is the NFC pound for pound stronger than the AFC this year? Top 4 teams.
I don't think so.
No.
No way.
Lions, Vikings, Packers, Eagles. Not better than Bills, Ravens. Chiefs.
I think when you look at the full 7-team playoffs from the NFC, that 7-team field is stronger. But I think the top of the AFC.
Yeah, the top of the AFC is better, I think.
I think the AFC, I can't see those top 3 teams losing to any of the other 4. I mean, Bengals are scary, but and maybe the Chargers could make a little run, I guess, but like the NFC, I could see anybody getting out of the NFC. I could see Detroit. I could see the Eagles. I could see the Packers. I could see the Vikings. I could see the Bucks. I could see the Rams. I could see any of those teams winning the NFC.
I mean, your Packers are going to be your 7 seed.
Yeah.
Packers are really good. Packers could definitely win the NFC.
Couldn't the Falcons make it? If the Falcons win on Sunday,
they need the
Tampa
Bucks
Bay loses.
Yeah.
But the Falcons have the tiebreaker, don't they? Because the Falcons won.
They beat them twice.
Or no,
the Falcons have the tiebreaker on the Bucks. The difference is right now the Bucks have more wins.
Bucks are winning
control
their
their destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many more bad teams does the NFC have, though, that they have to go through, right? Like, are there more bad teams than there are bad teams in the AFC? I don't know. Is the competition better for AFC teams?
Well, the whole AFC South sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Raiders. I mean, other than us, the AFC East sucks.
Yeah. Then, like, the Browns are terrible.
Yeah.
You got...
but then in the NFC, you got a lot of
you look at the
teams.
NFC, they got one good division where they're all amazing. And then you've got maybe one good team in each division, right? Like, aside from the North. I don't know.
So I mean...
And they don't have the level, the top-end quarterbacks by any means.
No. You've got Jacksonville also, that it's only 4-12, so that's not very good. We already said Las Vegas.
I gotta say, I think there's more really inept teams in the AFC.
Speaking of the Raiders, how impressive is it that kid is going to set some record Did he get it?
Oh, Brock Bowers, yeah.
Did he get the record?
Dick's record, right? You're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he broke it. I forget what the number is, but
How crazy is that?
He broke it. Was from 1961, I think. Something like that.
Ditka? Yeah.
That's crazy.
pretty amazing.
That
Yeah.
team's that bad and they could produce something like that.
Yeah. And they drafted a tight end the year before. So they got Brock Bowers last year. The year before that, they got Michael Mayers.
Yeah.
So they got tight ends and nobody else for the Raiders.
Yeah. No, but I mean, NFC, I have a tough time picking who I even think would win the NFC. The Eagles look like the most complete team, but
I think the Vikings are going to say something about it, too.
yeah.
I think that game is going to be the game of the week for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the one.
Yeah,
to
I'm looking
watch.
forward to it.
Yeah.
That is Sunday, 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm going to stay up for that one,
game
maybe.
of the year.
Yeah, it could be.
It may go up there with
Yeah.
those
2
Bills,
14-2
Rams, Bills,
teams.
Detroit.
That's got to be like a record of a matchup, 2 14-2 teams.
Especially for the last game of the season.
And you know what the kicker is? They're probably going to see each other again in the divisional round, not even the conference championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be on a collision course.
And this is already the second time they're playing each other.
Yeah.
They're just softening themselves up for the Bills. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't think any team in the NFC scares me as much as the Chiefs or Ravens or, I'm not going to lie, Bengals in the AFC. Like, I'll take any NFC team on.
I am scared of no
Eagles,
teams.
yeah, Eagles look like the most complete team, but like when you get these amazing quarterbacks, that's like the game could come down to, a play here and there. That's
Well, let me ask you this. What scares you more about the teams that you could play? Teams that have a really strong running game or teams that have a really good 1-2 receiver combo?
I honestly feel really good about the Bills against anybody, to be honest. Like we had talked about Philadelphia and we were talking about the Bengals a lot. I think when it comes to playoff time, like we go back and forth. Is it a second season, that kind of thing? It has to be, because no matter who you play, the Broncos or the Dolphins or whoever, you have to beat them.
Okay, so let me re-ask this. Pick your poison. Who you want to play? A team with 2 good receivers or a really good running game?
2 good receivers.
I'd rather play the running game.
Because you can have them waste their own time?
I mean, I think we can, like we could go into a 4-3. We have that at our disposal if they're like really gashing us. But I just think we had no answer for the Rams.
So are you telling me you want to go up against a running game team because you think you can adjust easier to stop that mid-game?
But nowadays, like, these teams are all built on the pass. Like, you're going to have to stop the pass first and foremost.
I don't think it's a secret that the Bills can stop the run consistently. So if you're a Ravens team, wouldn't you just run the wheels off of Henry?
You would think so.
And Lamar himself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think somebody else said it before. I forget who it was, but if we do play the Ravens, you have to stop.
Other podcasts are on.
Oh, okay. Well, that I have so many, so I forget. We have to stop Derrick Henry. Number one, first and foremost, let Lamar beat you. If anything's going to happen, let Lamar beat you. Because
let him prove he's MVP?
Exactly. Well, yeah, in a way, I mean, which he's not. But, yes, I see your point.
Am I saying anything crazy here?
I'm thinking back to your question.
Okay.
Top flight wide receiver versus that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen guys like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson just single-handedly take over a game.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good you're covering them. Those two have the ability just to kill you.
Right. Like what happened in the Ohio State-Oregon game. That kid from Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith.
The guy who's talking.
161 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Because one of those elite wide receivers, it's going to take more than just a Benford on him to stop him. It's going to take...
Cole Bishop's going to have the game of his life.
The whole 9 yards.
Suit up Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
Benford's going to look like a bum against those guys. And I like Benford, but
So,
he's not stopping.
Yeah.
He was not stopping or even slowing down
Was it
Puka.
2 years ago, Jefferson had what? 5 catches in the last 4 minutes of the game, and they came back and beat us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just that guy.
Was
so
that-
you can't really compare the 2 top wide receivers to the top running back because you got to look at who they are. Because Barkley would scare the shit out of you just as much as Chase. You really have to compare who they are. So I don't know if there's an answer to that. Just like when you said earlier, what scares you more, defensive line, linebacker, safety? Well, it's either defensive line or safety. Depends on who I'm playing.
Right.
I guess the Eagles have both. The Eagles have the great receiver and the 2 great receivers and the great running back.
And a mobile quarterback.
But I guess
Yeah.
I don't feel like Hurts has developed taking steps forward in the passing game where Brown scares me as much as I thought he would if you rewind to last year, 2 years ago. Because I own Hurts in a dynasty league.
Yeah.
He hasn't
He
progressed
has some
in the passing game.
inconsistent games. But he played great in that Super Bowl against
But
the
if
Chiefs,
you give me Chase with Burrow, the way Burrow's slinging the ball, or
Yeah.
you give me Jefferson the way Darnold's been slinging the ball, I'm scared shitless of that top end wide receiver more than I'm running back.
Yeah. Okay. Just throwing out some mind benders.
I think we gotta, like Al Davis said, I've said it before too.
Just win,
baby. That's it.
Right. It's no matter how you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dig deep. You got to want it more than the other team.
That's right.
And
to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
We've already proven that this year.
Yeah.
Beating the best team in each conference this year. We can do it. We can beat anybody. Bills by a billion.
We're the first team to beat. I agree. We're the first team to beat 2 14-win teams in the same year.
that's never been done before?
Mm-hmm.
God damn, they keep setting records and milestones and
keep inventing these records that we're breaking, right?
Oh my God.
we do play our best against great teams. Like, you're right. There's no team that actually should scare us. It's like, well, they could beat us, but like the Bills are not going to be scared to play anybody.
Josh Allen's the first quarterback in league history. You guys
Exactly.
have seen the meme, right? Like,
Yeah.
he is him. He is him.
Yeah. I've been telling these guys and everybody ever that he's going to break the all-time rushing touchdown record and he's going to break Brady's touchdown record by the time he's done.
Well,
And the all-time start streak.
he should beat Cam Newton's record next season.
Yeah.
No, I mean Emmitt Smith's rushing touchdown record.
That's like 160.
Dude, you're nuts.
He needs 99 more.
Only.
Yeah.
And you think he's never going to
He's
slow
got
down?
like 65 the next 5 years. So that's right there. Maybe 70.
Oh my God.
He's got 70 through seven seasons, right? No.
No, he's got 65.
65 through 7
He tied
seasons.
Thurman, 65.
All right.
Cam Newton, 75.
His first year, he had like 8. He's not doing that again for a while. He's going to have like 15 every year.
Oh my God.
He's going to have at least 12 the next 5 years.
How about we just start with Cam Newton's record first?
Yep.
And overall touchdowns, I cannot believe how far behind he is compared to Tom Brady.
How far?
Tom Brady's got like 650 total touchdowns.
Yeah, 677 total.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Josh will get there.
Josh Allen has the most touchdowns in the first 7 seasons of any quarterback.
He has the most touchdowns in 8 seasons, and he's only played 7 seasons.
Yep.
He's good. He's damn good.
He's the best. Best ever.
Yeah. I was trying to think of what else that he... I don't know, I'll be cutting this out.
That's a good idea. Maybe we get the power to go out again.
Oh my God, no. Then we got to get Mike back here. Oh, shit. Yeah, he's damn impressive.
Yeah. You just got to enjoy the ride as a Bills fan. Like, it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
And I like it. I feel like
I know what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Do playoff touchdowns count in their career totals?
No,
I don't think so. No,
not at least in the like all-time totals that most.
So you're
people
telling
look
me Tom Brady's got how many total touchdowns?
77, and
that includes
regular season.
0
yeah,
playoff or Super Bowl touchdowns.
correct.
That guy would have over 700 fucking touchdowns.
Way over
yeah.
Oh, how many years he play?
20.
I mean, that's what, 32 a year.
I mean, Josh had 40 in 1 year.
You're better at math than I
mean,
am.
if
I
you
don't know.
that's
He's 4 years old.
32
40 plus.
632 a
There's
year.
no
32
way.
a year would be 640, so you're looking 33 would be, so 34 a year.
Why wouldn't playoff touchdowns and postseason touchdowns count in their career totals?
Yeah, I know they should.
Don't they count in the NHL?
Because you're getting extra games, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, well, no, they don't count in the NHL, like with Gretzky's goal record that Ovechkin's chasing.
Oh, my God. Imagine how many goals to add on to that.
But, yeah, Josh is putting up 45 a year, so he'll break that in, like,
Is he going to hit 40?
10 years.
He hit 40 this year, right?
Yeah.
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 First
I
one to
think
ever do it 5 years in a row.
43 this year.
He just took over Aaron Rodgers' record for 40
12
seasons.
Yeah.
132 passes.
Let me see.
Yeah.
He's at 43, 44.
I think he's at 43. And well, he's got one receiving, too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
He's got 5 straight seasons with 40-plus touchdowns
Okay.
and counting.
Okay.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'm going to let these guys go home. Thank you guys so much. Happy New Year to all.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And hopefully we'll really get to nail down the playoff scenario here.
So what is it? Go Steelers and go Browns this week?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's always go Bills.
Yeah.
Oh, gang, go Bills.
All right, folks. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
ZaBillsPodcast is a presentation of Kmart Productions, sponsored by MJB Electric and Dudza Chiropractic. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't, please follow, rate, review the show. It helps with the algorithm. ZaBills is executively produced by me, Kyle. Executive sound engineering by yours truly, also me. Fundraising, also by Kyle. All artwork executively produced by Avery and Mark Rochon. What the heck is this? All music and lighting executively produced by Kyle. That's more like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully. Arrive home safely. Good night.